Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear, and it is first impressions time on this bad boy. This is the Something Obscene Company Jcape, and it is phenomenal. This is one of the newer ones built by Riat. There's currently, as of when I'm filming this, I don't know when it's going to close. Don't sue me if it has closed by the time you're watching this. There's currently a pre-order for some other variations of this on the Something Obscene Company site. And yeah, these new ones are built by Riat. I understand they used to be built by We, but this is one of the Riat built ones. And it's loaned to me, technically, although I think I'm going to attempt to purchase it from Hero Sticks. Hero Sticks has a YouTube channel. He'll be linked down below. He's the one who loaned this to me and has made it appear that I could potentially purchase it from him. So I'm currently working on that, and I don't know whether I'll partial trade and send some cash or just buy it from him or what, but I kind of need to have this knife. It is so freaking good. There's a lot that I'm loving about this knife so far. I've carried it for a full day and about another half a day. I unboxed it right before going on a little trip to San Diego, and I carried it a whole day down there, and then again this morning I carried it for until the early afternoon. I've done a little bit of cutting with it so far, mostly just opening some packages. That's pretty much it. I haven't cut an apple with it yet. I haven't done anything wild. I probably also won't do anything that crazy with it, at least until I actually purchase it from Hero Sticks, so that it's not someone else's knife at the point if I'm doing something crazy with it. So yeah, that'll be what it's going to be. But I love this knife. This is one of those things where for a long time people have been telling me that I need to try one. People have been saying the Something Obscene Company Jcape is a knife that you're going to love. You need to check one out. I promise you're going to love it. Like, it's so good, all these things. And it's not that I didn't believe people. It's that there's so many knives out there to try. Like, to be fair, and people give me recommendations all the time at this point. Like, oh, you got to try one of these. And a lot of the time it's like, yes, I would love to, but there's only so much time, and I only have so much knife budget. And even though a lot of people are super generous and offer me loaners all the time, at this point, like, I don't have enough time to be accepting many of them because I have so many knives that I'm always reviewing between what I'm buying, and now sometimes companies are sending me things, and it stacks up, right? And so I took way too long to get to this one, and it wasn't because I wasn't interested in the knife. It's just because, like, the timing didn't work out for me up until right now. And now I'm kicking myself because this thing, it's special. This is a special knife. There's a lot that I'm loving about it. So let's just kind of go through some of the things, impressions-wise, that I'm loving about it so far. And then I'll save my more in-depth talk of, like, ergos, action, carry, cutting, like, in that kind of chunk that I like to talk about it for the full review. But right now, this blade, let's just start by saying aesthetically, this is a phenomenal looking blade. Riat crushes it on grinds, and they have here. It's really thin behind the edge, and it stays thin for a decent little portion of the blade before coming to this. It's a hollow grind for this main bevel, right? And it's just a nice gradual build up. It's an excellent slicing geometry. And then you've got a flat grind up here. So it's a compound grind because you've got hollow and then flat. And it just, the way it looks and the way that it kind of reinforces that tip looks, and it's fantastic. And then you've got this swedge met down toward the tip as well. And so what that does to the profile and the way it catches the light, having each of these grinds, and then this nice satin kind of, like, I don't know if it's hand rub. I guess it's hand rub. It's all going this way for the flats. It's gorgeous. I absolutely am thrilled every time that I take a moment and just look at this blade. I love it. I think it looks phenomenal. And so far, in the little bit of cutting that I've done with it, it's been excellent. Ergonomically, I'm loving this knife in a saber grip, and that's my favorite grip anyways. And you pair that with this blade profile, and it just feels, it feels good. I like the way this knife feels. The jimping is aggressive, but it's just not quite over the line for me. I don't love jimping. In fact, I usually prefer no jimping at all. But on this knife, I'm not minding it. Something about it being on the thumb ramp the way it is, the spacing on it, it's a little sharp. I could stand for it to be a little less sharp, sure, but it doesn't bug me. Yeah, the ergos, this handle profile, I wasn't sure about before ever handling. The way you've got like this groove up here, and then it steps up, and then it steps up again, and then you've got like a curve back here. I wasn't sure how that would feel in hand. It fits my hand like a glove. It feels really, really good ergonomically. This is one of those knives too. I talked about this in my unboxing because when I first unboxed it, I was kind of shocked how light it was. Certain knives, when I see them in pictures or in video, or even when I'm looking at them physically in front of me, my brain does like this mental calculation, like it would with any object. Like if I see a water bottle next to me, my brain automatically draws some sort of a conclusion of how much that object probably weighs. Based on all of the other water bottles I've ever picked up in my life, I usually have a pretty decent ballpark on what something is going to weigh, if it's something I'm familiar with, right? Knives I'm really familiar with. I handle a lot of knives, right? And sometimes you pick up a knife that just feels lighter than it looks like it's going to. And that's one of those things that I guess is kind of hard to convey. I talk about that sometimes with my Koenig Arius, where it's just like, it feels lighter than it looks like it should weigh. It feels like it's defying gravity a little bit. And when you look inside this knife, it makes sense because the internal milling is bananas. It's really, really milled out inside. But it just feels kind of impossibly light. Every time I pick it up, it's like it surprises me all over again that it's as light as it is, because it's not a small knife, and it's really kind of tall this way. It's a good sized blade. The titanium scales look thick. The backspacer looks substantial. The clip is a freaking big lightning bolt made of titanium. Like everything about it, it doesn't make me think, oh, that's going to be a featherweight knife. And it's not that it's actually crazy light. It just feels lighter than I think it should be. Or that I would think it would be, if that makes sense. But I love how light it is. Yeah, the action is crazy. Let me do a moment of ASMR. I think I did this on the unboxing too, but I'm going to put it right next to the mic so you can just hear the sounds this knife makes. It's like something about this detent mixed with the internal milling, mixed with the blade grind. It all comes together to just make these sounds that are so satisfying for me. I love the acoustics of this knife. And that's something that like adds to the experience a lot with a knife. When a knife sounds cool, as it feels cool, and as it looks cool, like it's a piece of the puzzle for sure. And when that's missing, and if a knife sounds dull, and like not like the edge is dull, but like it doesn't sound exciting, there's less excitement about it. And so this knife looks exciting, it feels exciting, and it sounds incredible. I love the acoustics of it. So yeah, there's a ton that I'm just eating up at this point about this knife. The pocket clip, I'm getting used to. I already, off the bat, this pocket clip didn't like bother me per se. The lightning bolt shaped thing, it's different for sure, and it's immediately recognizable. If somebody has a Something Obscene Company knife and they see one of these in someone else's pocket, they know that they also have one. Like, there's no one else that's doing this. This one being gold and shiny is a whole nother level of flashy. We were walking around a mall in San Diego, and I had this in my pocket. And I like in malls, if you're going through stores, there's mirrors everywhere, and I couldn't help but notice every time I walked by a mirror, like I had this like flashing gold lightning bolt sticking out of my pocket. So that's a thing. It's not exactly inconspicuous, but it's cool. I like it more than like the Chavez skull clip, which is the closest thing I can think to relate this to, because that's the other like immediately identifiable like shaped titanium milled pocket clip. And this one is just, it's gold and it's a lightning bolt. It's crazy. But I dig it, and it's fine in hand. It works great as an actual pocket clip. It's not deep carry, which I prefer and love deep carry, but as milled titanium pocket clips go, it's functional, it's working, and it's a freaking gold lightning bolt. So I don't know. First impressions are kind of through the roof on this guy. I need it. I need this knife to be mine. I love it. It is so good. So I guess that's it on first impressions. I'll be doing my full review soon, so be on the lookout for that. But in the meantime, thank you guys for checking it out. We'll see you on the next one.